Let's take a look at a couple things that I think are real important though. The first thing is understanding personal power. I labeled this meetup group NLP for creating personal power. Well, that brings about really the first question, in addition to what is NLP, and that is, what is personal power? I think personal power is about having the capacity and the ability to create from within. As a therapist, I see a lot of people who come to me because I'm a therapist and they want me to fix something for them, or they want me to solve something for them. If you're an attorney, people come to you because they want you to solve something for them. If you're a mechanic, people come to you because they want you to solve something for them. If you're a financial consultant, they want you to do it for them. And I'm a firm believer in hiring experts. But I think the difference between the average person and the excellent person, the person who excels at things, is they've been able to generate within themselves the ability to do things that other people don't seem to have. Some people don't seem to have the ability to generate wealth from within. Some people don't seem to have the ability to generate happiness from within. Some people don't have the ability to generate calmness from within. I meet clients with pain management difficulties who don't have the ability to generate comfort from within. And one of the presuppositions of neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, is that we have all of the resources within us that we need to solve any problem. The challenge for you, the challenge for me, the challenge for anybody is to be able to tap into these resources and know how to use them. Tony Robbins always said it's knowing when to do the right thing at the right time. Sometimes life is a matter of timing. NLP is a tool that can help us to gain personal power because it can do the first thing that's on this list here. It can help us to meet our deepest needs from within ourselves. I've often said that the most reliable person in our life is ourselves. Other people will in fact fail you and let you down. By the way, that doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means they have their human limitations. As a therapist, people often came to me over the years and they wanted me to work with their family and they wanted me to help them build a happy, healthy marriage because they didn't want to be let down again. And I told everybody who I worked with in couples counseling that no matter how hard we work in therapy, you will be let down again. Because the nature of people is that they are imperfect. And so the most reliable person in your world is actually you. You're the one who actually loves you most. And so I'm interested in being able to generate from within myself those things that I need most of all in order for me to experience success. And so I think the first aspect of personal power is to be able to generate from within everything that I need. Personal power is also about the ability to create healthy interactions with other people. People are social by nature. We like other people. One of the reasons why meetups are successful is we get to get out of our world, which often is in isolation, doing the tasks that produce the check that we need in order to pay our bills at the end of the month for the people who we love that we don't get to see because they're out doing the exact same thing. And the meetup is a great way to build a sense of community, to find people who have common interests, people who we can become friends with and share with. It's really pretty interesting watching people come in the room. Preeti came in the room and it was her very first meetup, and she came in and I kind of figured it was her first meetup because she didn't know anybody yet, and I introduced her to a couple people and they spent time talking to her, and when she comes back next month for another meetup group, she's going to have friends here. That's fantastic, because we can do things with other people that we could never do alone. Certainly it is true that we're the most reliable person in our world, and certainly it is true that other people will let us down, but at the same time, people can be a tremendous support during difficult times. For example, let's just say that when we got done with this meeting, my car was out of gas. And so could I push it down Oak Street, up here to the main drag, and push it down to the gas station, which is about a half a mile up over here? Would I be able to do that? No. It would be impossible. I'm not that strong, nor can I steer and push at the exact same time. But if I came back in the room and said, hey guys, I'm out of gas, could you help me push my car to the gas station as a group? Could we get my car to the gas station a half mile away? Yeah, you might not come to another meetup group here, but we could do it. We can do things with others that we cannot do alone, and personal power is all about building relationships that help us create a network of people who can help me accomplish what's most important. And the third aspect of personal power is the ability to utilize that creative part of the mind to solve any problem and to encourage growth. I meet people all the time who are stifled in their creativity. They feel like they're stuck. They're extremely frustrated because they know that inside of them is a creative capacity, but they haven't been able to tap into that. And so they just don't know what they want, or what they're doing, or where they're going. And they stay stuck. And they plan for big things next year. And we know that tomorrow never comes, and so next year never comes either. People who have personal power are people who have the ability to be successful at using the creative part of the mind. These things are important because neuro-linguistic programming is really one of the key techniques to help you, me, or anyone else do this. Now, I became interested in neuro-linguistic programming real simply because I wanted to find some ways for me to be a more effective person. As a therapist, I was exposed to some of Richard Bandler and John Grinder's work in neuro-linguistic programming during the course of psychotherapy school. Not a lot, but I sort of knew who they were. I kind of knew who Milton Erickson, the hypnotist, was. That was cool. I enjoyed those experiences. But I started doing therapy as a profession, trying to apply the techniques of psychotherapy to my own life, and found that I was as miserable as my clients. And so I started looking outside of therapy to find solutions. I thought, who else is a problem solver other than Aaron Beck, or who else is a problem solver other than Mitch and Bob, or who else is a problem solver other than other psychotherapists? And I thought to myself, well, business people are, and so I didn't really know very much about business, but I decided I was going to venture over to the business section of the bookstore and see what kind of books they had. And when I did that, I found all kinds of books, and that was where I discovered Tony Robbins' books. Just like a lot of other people, Awaken the Giant Within. And I was amazed that his problem-solving strategies were as effective, or if not more effective, than the psychotherapeutic strategies that I had learned in working with clients. So I began to try to figure out what it was that Tony Robbins learned. Where did this come up from? Who was it? And of course, I found out that many of his ideas came from John Grinder and Richard Bandler, the founders of NLP, who he had studied with in the 1970s. And so I thought to myself, what is this NLP you speak of? And I discovered something. It was about using problem-solving strategies that were modeled after successful psychotherapists. What's interesting, though, is the psychotherapy community really seemed to reject NLP. They were looking for something more measurable, more empirical, something that could be written about in a journal, something that always worked the same way with everybody always. And Richard Bandler actually called neuro-linguistic programming the scientific study of subjectivity, which, by the way, doesn't sound a whole lot like anything that's going to be written up in a psychology journal at the university. And probably the most famous proponent of NLP was, of course, Tony Robbins, who began to teach the techniques of NLP in his early classes and seminars, and still does to this day. He's gone on to call it something different. He's picked the word neuro-associative conditioning to describe his form of NLP. The reason why is he doesn't want people to think that he has the capacity to program them. Tony Robbins says, I want people to know that I can help them condition themselves. But the techniques came from the same pool of resources where Bandler and Grinder modeled successful therapists to find out who was successful and why were they successful. And Tony Robbins, of course, went on to be probably one of the most successful entrepreneurs, business consultants, life coaches, on the entire planet. And so I became interested in it to solve some of my own problems in life. And I found when I applied the techniques of neuro-linguistic programming, the techniques that Tony offers in neuro-associative conditioning, and I apply those with the clients on my caseload, they get better faster. And when I apply them in my own life, I feel fine. I feel great. I feel terrific. I feel happy. And guess what? I have the power. I've found that when I do what I ask my clients to do, it makes me successful. It gives me the ability to pass those traits along to them. Now, as a therapist, and I still am a therapist who sees clients for therapy in my office, that's great. But I'm also a business person.